Hi, welcome to In Our Community. I'm Jeremy Hunt from Today's Youth, and I'm here with Alan Villalobos of the Corona Norco United Way. Hi, Alan.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Great.
Alan, can you tell us a little bit about this new office that we're in and what exactly is it that United Way does for our community?
Absolutely, absolutely. We're very fortunate to have a new office space at the Historic Civic Center here in Corona, downtown Corona, the heart of Corona, 815 West 6th Street in Corona. And we had an opportunity to have this office donated by a lot of the individuals, businesses here in our community. United Way is all about relationships with other corporate partners, and with that relationship, we were able to accomplish this. A great office space with furniture being donated, computers. We have the floors finished and carpet and paint and all that kind of stuff, and we are very excited to be here in downtown Corona.
Now, Alan, you mentioned something about corporate sponsors and people like that. Tell us exactly, how does United Way work, and what are the main goals of United Way?
Yeah, we work as a administrative organization to corporate America funding or funds that are basically allocated back to our community. We have established relationships with the larger organization like Costco and Walmart and Sam's Club and Target and all of those big companies in America. So they allow us then to utilize their fund and put it back into work with health and human services in our community. What we do is that we come to their offices, we talk about the needs of our community, and then they allocate their monies or employee payroll deductions to come to work for the benefit of our community. And basically that's the mission of the organization. The mission is to go out there, get those dollars, and disperse those monies in the greatest needs of our community. And that's what United Way does the best.
So now that you told us about the actual company, United Way, tell us about where you come into this, what's your position here, and how long have you actually been with the company?
You know what, I've been very fortunate to be here for 11 the director of the United Way, what we call the executive director, whatever that means, and I've just been very fortunate to be embraced by this community, to be a leader in this community when it comes to the health and human services here. So that's what I do. I've been doing this for 11 years. I've been encouraging people to contribute back to the community, tell them, it's important to give back to the community, especially to the youth. We have a generation that it's full of energy and full of money. Is one of the wealthiest generations in our history, and United Way is specifically interested in teaching and educating this generation into giving back to the community, how important it is for them to do it. So that's my job.
And give us a little bit of history on the actual United Way. How long has it been around? What are some of the main projects that you guys have done throughout time?
Sure. United Way has an existence over 120 years of existence here. We're along with the American with the American Red Cross. We're along with the Salvation Army when it comes to being in our country. United Way was basically established to be an organization within America that will support health and human services within America. We were never intended to be an international organization. That's why United Way has such a high popularity in our community. And now here in Corona, we have almost 70 years of existence.
Oh, wow.
And we've been rooted over here for a long time. Members of our community actually started this United Way by supporting health and human services, and the history just basically changed names and all that. It was Community Chest first, and then Community Fund, and then Corona Fund, and then became Corona Norco Fund, and then Corona Norco United Way after 1971 is when really became the Corona Norco United Way. And it was because the national organization, United Way of America, we all became members of that organization, and by not confusing people, we basically become the Corona Norco United Way. We specified our own communities.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, based on that history, it sounds like what better place to be than located right here at the historic Civic Center, right?
Absolutely, I think it was a great move. Although United Way keeps a presence in all the communities that we serve, we're very local. We serve the cities of Corona, Norco, surrounding areas like Eastvale, Mira Loma, Lake Matthews, Coronita, Home Gardens, all those areas surrounding those two cities. But primarily, where it started was in Corona. So we're definitely happy here, as we were happy in Norco. We are, they're just two wonderful cities, and we're just excited about being here back.
Well, Alan, let's take a short break. When we come back, we're going to discuss more about United Way. So, viewers, don't go away. We'll be right back.
The most dangerous thing
our kids have to deal with today
isn't violence.
it isn't drugs, it's unhealthy food.
too many of our kids are overweight.
They're headed for diabetes, heart problems, or worse.
They need to eat healthy things like vegetables, fruits, high-fiber vegetarian foods.
As our kids grow, the right foods can help protect them from obesity, heart problems, diabetes, and even cancer. To find out more, call for a free booklet or visit our website, kidsgethealthy.org.
Welcome back to In Our Community. I'm your host, Jeremy Hunt, and I'm sitting here with Alan Villalobos. Welcome back, Alan.
Thank you.
So before the break, we were discussing some of the history of United Way. Alan, can you tell us a little bit about some of the goals and the mission statement, per se, about United Way?
Sure. The mission of United Way is basically being able to become that fundraising organization, so the agencies that we support, the partner agencies that we support, they don't have to go out there and dedicate the fundraising part of it. We basically become that fundraising factor for them, so they can dedicate to what they do best. That's what United Way does. And our vision is basically to be the leader of fundraising in our community. We want to be able to, for the agencies, our partner agencies, not to worry about funding.
Yeah.
You know, that any needs that they have, any programs, any services that they provide, you know, are covered by the fundraising efforts that United Way has here in town. So that's what we're doing here.
So you get out there and you fundraise, you raise the money. Where is this money going? Who is it for? Is there a particular group that it's going to, or do you specify maybe certain age ranges that you want the money going to? Or tell me a little bit about that.
Absolutely. We are very broad when it comes to giving back to the community. United Way has what we call the Allocations Committee. The Allocations Committee comprehends a group of individuals outside of the actual board of directors of United Way in our community who review each of the agencies that United Way supports. They review their programs, their services, their how many people they serve, what kind of individuals they serve, and according to that, they make a recommendation to the board of directors of United Way for their approval. Now, different amounts go according to the needs of the community. Let's say childcare is one of the greatest needs of our community. Therefore, there's going to be more money coming for that particular purpose. Let's say alternatives to domestic violence, big issue in our community. That actually is allocated. There's more money allocating for that. So United Way tackles the needs, the greatest needs of our community through this particular process. United Way is all about family. Okay, we believe that the decisions that our adults make are affecting our children. As a matter of fact, 90% of the agencies that United Way supports are somehow, the children are somehow affected by it. Low-income families, maybe the parents don't know how to handle their money. So United Way has programs and services helping them how to budget, how to utilize their funds in their best interest of their children. We provide food and clothing and shelter to the families. Corona and Norco have become basically two cities where there's no affordable housing. Well, United Way provides the tools so families in the shelter, families who have lost their homes, can actually transition from Corona to another community where they can actually afford an apartment or a home or some things like that. So that's kind of, in a way, what United Way does with all of the organizations. We actually have about 18 different organizations that we support. I would say, apart from the mentally challenged adults, everything else has to do with children, has to do with youth in our community. So that's the reason why I'm so excited to be here today with you, Jeremy.
Let me give an example for our viewers out there. Let's say that I wanted to open up a drug and alcohol rehabilitation center. Could I come to you and ask for help with money, getting it started, getting it off the ground, getting ideas? Would that be something I could come to you for?
Absolutely, absolutely. If you have a program that is not a duplicate program in our community, United Way wants to know about it. United Way wants to support that program. We are known, United Way is known to be a startup of a lot of health and human services in our community. So you don't necessarily need to be established as an organization. You just got to be able to provide a service that is not a duplicate service in our community. So definitely, you can come. You're invited basically once a year to apply for United Way funding through this allocation process I previously talked to you about. And from there we say, you're ready to receive funding from United Way, or you need to do this and that in order to get you started with it. United Way even has helped organizations fill up their paperwork, as a matter of fact, for their 501c3s, the tax exempt status of any nonprofit organization. I have given all kinds of different direction to United Ways, to other nonprofit organizations or people who want to start some kind of a service here in the community. And later on, those organizations actually become recipients of United Way funding. So yeah, we do that.
Sitting here talking, it kind of reminds me of natural disasters. And for each natural disaster, different programs have to be started for recovery and getting things back to normal. One of the biggest disasters I can think of right now is Hurricane Katrina. Did United Way play any part in that nationally and locally here at the Corona Norco United Way?
Absolutely. We had a partnership with Salvation Army, with the American Red Cross. We also had the United Way of America, the big branch, working along with the government on that particular process. Each United Way actually gave an amount of money as a testimonial of, we would like to support our brothers and sisters in that particular area. But we also put in our own websites opportunities for people to come to our website and have a link over there and just directly go and contribute to the United Way Fund through, to the victims of Katrina. So United Way plays a big part when it comes to disaster relief and providing basic needs for community members in situations like that. Yes.
When you do go to help out in a deprived area such as Katrina, would you stay there just for the time being, get the program started, and then pull out, or would you be there for an extended amount of time? Or how does that work?
United Way also always focus on the long term. We always focus on the long term. When 9/11 happened, United Way was the organization who actually expanded the most the monies given to United Way. We actually went through long-term commitment to the families that were affected by 9/11. Same thing happens with Katrina. United Way is in a long-term relationship with all the organizations who serve in that particular disaster. Now remember, United Way is a funding source for the actual organizations who provide the services in the community. American Red Cross, the Salvation Army, those are the ones who you hear in the news in the newspaper. Those are the ones that you hear in the news. But United Way behind the scenes are the one providing the funding for it. And obviously that is through people who trust United Way, through contributors, the same way they do with the American Red Cross and the same thing they do with the Salvation Army. So that's what we do. We are there for the long run.
Mhm. That's what you need. You can't just go in and say, yeah, we'll help you out for a couple of weeks and then we're leaving. You need someone, at least one organization that's going to be able to stay there for long term. That's great how you guys are doing that.
I agree with that. No, United Way is committed to that. We're all about community, and community means families.
Yeah.
So anything that is affecting families, children, youth, elderly, all of those things, United Way is there first.
All right. Now that we've talked about United Way at a more national level, let's take a break. And when we come back, we'll talk about United Way at a more local, community-based level. So, viewers, don't go away. We'll be right back.
I get people involved in saving the environment. That's why I volunteer.
When I teach computer skills, I help kids succeed in school. That's why I volunteer.
I helped raise awareness about the hazards of tobacco use. That's why I volunteer, to make a difference.
If you know middle or high school students who make a difference by doing volunteer work, have them ask their school principals about applying for a Prudential Spirit of Community Award, or encourage them to call 1-888-450-9961.
Hello, I'm Paul Newman. Every day, thousands of sick and disabled veterans face real emergencies that government programs just can't meet. For more than 80 years, the Disabled American Veterans has been there for them. Across the country, DAV volunteers are working to build better lives for sick and disabled veterans who need assistance. Sometimes they just need a friend, but more volunteers are needed. If you want to help, contact the Disabled American Veterans. Thank you.
Welcome back to In Our Community. I'm Jeremy Hunt, and we're here live in the Corona Norco United Way office, and I'm here with Alan Villalobos. Welcome back, Alan.
Thank you.
So before we left, we were talking about United Way on a national level. Now we're going to speak about more local terms. So, Alan, can you tell us about how United Way has locally affected a change in the community?
You know what? We have impacted this community tremendously. I can give you a couple of examples of what United Way has actually done here. Just recently, the local shelter was in jeopardy of being closed, for whatever reasons, funding reasons primarily. United Way got there, sat at the table, and we said, we can't close this thing. We cannot make it into four apartment building. We are serving 100 and something families a year. We cannot do this. So United Way is committed to put some money in order for us to keep the shelter going. And also United Way encouraged the board of directors of the local shelter, to become a full-time fundraiser so we can continue to keep the shelter open. We were very effective doing that. They took the challenge. The board of directors of United Way also took the challenge, and we committed to it, and we continue to be committed to it. We know the kind of support and the kind of need that shelter has become in our community. So United Way it's committed to that. Now, also with the Corona Norco Settlement House, it's one of the oldest agencies over here, and I don't know if you guys knew this, but this agency has almost 100 years in our community.
Oh, wow.
100 years of existence here. And they were around 1998, 1999, they were in a turmoil situation. United Way said, we cannot let this organization go. We cannot let this organization vanish from our community just because of a little misunderstanding or a little thing going on. United Way pulled out the funds, obviously through contributors who trust United Way, and we were able to keep that organization going. And that, I believe, we're affecting actually from 25 to 30 families a day coming to that place. Food and clothing and all kinds of different things, utility assistance, rental assistance, mortgage assistance programs for our families here. That tells me United Way is doing the job that it's supposed to be doing, and we are definitely affecting our local community with that.
So when you say that you guys say, no, we need this place here in Corona, obviously you need to have something backing you there. And that backing is the funds, the money. Exactly. How do you get that money? How do you fundraise? Can you give me some examples of fundraisers that you've done to get that extra punch in there?
Yeah, like I said, we have great relationships with corporate America. We are, corporate America for, if you're a young person, maybe you don't know when we talk about corporate America, but corporate America is the Walmarts of the world. Walmart is the biggest retail company in the world. Well, United Way has a well-established relationship with them. Costco, one of the largest, warehouses in the world. We have a relationship with them. They trust United Way. They think that by giving through United Way, they're giving to an entire community. Why? Because United Way has 18 different organizations, 18 different programs in the community, serving the community. So they said to their employees, guys, I'm going to introduce to you guys United Way. United Way is a trustworthy organization. You donate whatever you want to donate, okay, through your payroll deduction. You can do it through payroll deduction, and we can then all together give back to the community. So United Way dedicates to payroll deduction. That's the main thing that we do. We go to large corporations and we encourage the employees to give back to the community. The employee can give $1, $2, $5, whatever they want to give out of every time they get paid, and that's how United Way reunites all this money. Okay. Now we also have another program for small business owners. Like small and medium size. We have a program that for $300 a year, you basically have contributed back to the community. So $300 a year, we put those $300 a year to diversify the programs here in our community, and you are a contributor of the local United Way. And that's the two main programs that United Way, especially Corona Norco United Way, is running at this point. It was well accepted. We have just started in the month of September, which is the kickoff time for United Way campaign, and we have had a great support from the local small businesses. $300 a year, they thought it was a great opportunity for them to give back to the community. So those are the two main programs we have: corporate America and the small businesses and medium-sized businesses here in town.
Oh, that's amazing.
So
that's
awesome.
awesome.
The way we raise.
So, okay, you've been here 11 years. And through all those 11 years, you've obviously had years that are successful, more successful than others. I'm sure they're all successful. But what would you consider to be a highly successful year for you? And maybe describe one and how it went for you.
Yeah, well, success is measured by dollars for United Way.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that the nature of the organization is dollars. The more money we raise, the more funding we can give back to the community. So I believe last year, 2005 was one of the best years for Corona Norco United Way. We raised over an additional $80,000, and we continue to add to the agencies. We allocated another $14,000 to the $200,000 United Way is giving, or have promised the agencies to give, in a year. We basically gave over $250,000, all together when it came to, giving back to the community and services and support and, meetings and all kinds of different things in the community. So I believe that 2005 was the greatest year. But success is also measured by the amount of people that we're able to serve. And it shows the shelter itself served approximately 72,000 meals last year.
And I know that makes you feel special too, because how many businesses could say, oh, I gave away $250,000 this year? I mean, no, most businesses are saying, oh yeah, we brought in this amount of money. So I know that's a special feeling that you probably have there, and it's commendable.
Thank you very much.
We've got to go to another break, but when we come back, we'll talk more about contacting United Way and getting in touch with Alan and this office. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Lazy bones, loafing through the day.
All over America, we're no longer just sedentary, we're stationary. And that's bad news for your bones. Because bones need weight-bearing activity to grow strong and stay strong. So get up, get out, get moving. A message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
Never heard a word I say.
You'd think
it would be easy to tell which kids have trouble with their eyesight.
Here, kitty, kitty. Here, kitty, kitty.
But that's not always the case. Even though 1 in 4 children may have a vision problem, eye doctors tell us the symptoms aren't always so obvious. For clues on how to spot the real-life signs of childhood vision problems, visit checkyearly.com. A public service message from the Vision Council of America, and reading is fundamental.
Welcome back to In Our Community, here with Alan Villalobos of United Way. In our final segment, let's talk about how to contact United Way. So Alan, go ahead and take it away. How do we contact you?
Absolutely. I'm glad that you asked that question. As a matter of fact, I was waiting all day long for this particular question. United Way can be contacted by phone, by email, and obviously, you can come and visit our offices. The way you do it by phone is calling 951-736-0620. You can call our offices and ask to contribute, or if you want to volunteer to any of the organizations United Way supports, we can actually help you do that. We can refer you to an organization that you're going to be excited about. As far as email, you can email us at info@cnunitedway.org, info@cnunitedway.org. And if you want to email me directly, you can email Allen, ALLEN, @cnunitedway.org. And obviously, you can come and visit us anytime at 815 West 6th Street in Corona. And we're at the Historic Civic Center in downtown Corona. We're excited about it. We're right behind or right next to the new City Hall. And you can come anytime you want.
All right, Alan. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on the show today, and we learned a lot about United Way and fundraising and what you guys do. And we're very excited to have you here in our community, and it was a pleasure having you on our show, and a pleasure for the viewers, I'm sure, to be able to gain this new knowledge and information. So, viewers, we'll see you next week. I'm Jeremy Hunt with Alan Villalobos, and this has been In Your Community.